Hey, good morning.
Hey, I hope it is a wonderful start to your Thursday. I am Kim Stillers with Rural Community Solutions, and we help you design family-friendly, youth-centered places that attract the people who want to live, work, and play in your community.
And I'm Frank Spillers, and here about in a YouTube video on other places, they would have a theme song or they would have kind of like what we do. So here we go. Boom, 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 boom. and then we start the program. So we haven't got that sophisticated yet, but you just know what we do. We've been doing this long enough that we just hope we give you good plans, good direction, good actions that you can take to really create your community that attracts families, attracts youth, and attracts the people that you would like to have live in your community.
So we are excited. All of this week, we are talking about a little bit deeper dive into our 4 pillars of relationship, engagement, entrepreneurship, and collaboration. And today we are going to talk about collaboration, and that's about appreciation, right?
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's all about appreciation, but it is really how do you create that environment? Because here's some statistics I want to show you that if the U.S. was a company, and these are statistics that we have gleaned from Gallup over the years. And so here's if the U.S. was a company and you had 100 million employees, so about a little less than a third of our population would be an employee in your company. And if you were the manager of this company, here'd be the breakdown that you would have in your company. 30 million of your employees would be actively engaged. In other words, they really love what they're doing, and they get up in the morning, they wake up in the morning, they get up and they say, I get to go to work, or I get to do this. And that's 30% of your employees. Now, 50% of your employees are disengaged. It's 30%, 50% are disengaged. In other words, they wake up in the morning and they go, I have to go to work. And they go to work. They do their job and then they go home. They really don't do anything extra. They don't, they contribute their time and their talents for what they were hired for. Now, 20% of your employees are actively disengaged. So what does that mean? Actively disengaged. That means they don't feel a part of you at all. And what they are trying to do is actively get the engaged people to disengage. They'll show up for work and they will look at your engaged employees and saying, what are you doing work so hard about? Why are you doing this? What are you, a brown noser? What's going on with you? Are you trying to get a promotion? Are you trying to get recognized? Are you trying to get certified? Are you trying? And they are actively disengaged. They are the negative Nellies, if you will, in your organization. And so why is that foundation? What is that really causes people to do that? And is that all employees? Now, this is an average of employees, average of your businesses. So if you take that average, you'll have a whole bunch of more businesses that are doing well and some that are not doing so well. So if you have a high employee turnover, if you have volunteers that are not volunteering for your organizations, if you have parishioners, if you have your congregation is leaving your church and you're losing church members, you might want to pay attention to the rest of our message, because that's the foundation. This is really where we're going this week, because actually what we're doing is really talking through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. How do you get people? How do you make people? How do you help people, not make people? How do you help people feel like they belong to whatever they are doing?
And so that if you think, why in the world are we using psychology for community development? Listen in, because what happens in communities and happens in organizations is that people have basic needs. And when those basic needs are or are not met, then that's going to give you an indication of how healthy your organization or your community is.
So what are we going to do with collaboration? Now, collaboration, if you have followed us and you understand what it is, collaboration is about identifying people and identifying their talents. It's more about how do we help people and how do we not use people in a negative term, but how do we utilize people with their talents and their passions best so they can perform better, but in cooperation and in collaboration with others to get a collaborative goal, a collaborative vision. How do you get that done? And so it's not about the project. It's not about the profits. It's about how the environment helps people to do what they want to do what they can do, have their talents, have their passion, purpose, all that shine. And so we talk about collaboration as the art of appreciation. It's the art of appreciation of showing gratitude, doing healthy behavior, having the healthy behavior in your company, having the healthy behavior in your communities, but also providing thankfulness. Do you really appreciate people's actions? Do you appreciate what they do and what they bring? Not just once a year, I'm going to give you a certification of appreciation. And here I'm going to present it to you in front of all the other employees. Or, yeah, we appreciate our employees. In fact, we have an employee of the month. Big deal. That's not what this is about. All right. So you want to really find the good all the time. Find the good all the time and praise it. Find that good and praise it. This is things that we learned in education. I have a Bachelor of Science in Education, secondary education, but I've never taught high school. But this was the formulation of how do you create an engaged classroom. Now, think about this. If 20% of your workforce is actively disengaged, that means 20% of your teachers are actively disengaged. What kind of classroom environment is that setting for your students? What kind of classroom environment is that setting for your future workforce in your community? And then you have 20% of your volunteers are actively disengaged. What's happened? Why are they leaving? Why are they not participating in the organization? You know, it is a generational thing that we're looking at. Some generations, they don't participate as much as other generations. Why is that? Well, because it's been kind of hammered out of them that if one generation participated in organizations, but the next generation did not, they saw the generation that participated in organizations not get appreciated. And so this generation that didn't feel appreciated will tell this generation it's not worth volunteering. That's how generations are passed on. That's how actions are passed on from one generation to the other. And that's how you create a culture. And so we have to get back to how do we create those organizations? How do we create that environment to where people feel appreciated?
If you have any ideas, think of your business. Think of your organization that you belong to. Think of your worship congregation, any place that you can think of. I bet that you might be able to actually name people who fit into all of those categories. The actively engaged tend to be the people who do all the stuff, who get everything done, and then people who just show up. Like what Frank was saying, and you might be able to actually pinpoint some behaviors for people who are actively disengaged. You might be able to conduct your very own experiment and see whether or not, if you see somebody who's engaged, actively disengaged or disengaged, you might be able to say to them, hey, you're doing a really fabulous job on this particular item, whatever it is. A meeting that somebody ran, or a project that they're working on, or just how they addressed their kids in the grocery store, something like that. You really handled that well. When we appreciate people and we name it to them, people rise to the level of our expectations. So if people in our communities would do that on a regular basis, then we are going to help that person feel like they are making a contribution in the way that they are being recognized for it, and they're apt to do it again.
So let me show you why this is so important. Just because here we've shown this all week, but it's very important that you understand this, specifically on a community development aspect of it, because we all work on housing issues. We work on are we having enough food? Are people have enough food to eat? Are they food insecure? Housing insecure? Are they getting enough sleep? Do they have less stress? I mean, those are all the basic physiological needs that a person has. And so we tend to just kind of focus on that. And then the first couple of levels, and then the safety level. Do they feel safe? Okay. Do they have secure employment? So we work on workforce issues. Do they have the resources? And so we work on poverty issues. Can they bring that up? We work on the morality, actually, because of the values that we have in our small communities and the values that we have in our culture, that we raise them up. They might not match everybody. And so then you run into judgments, but that's a whole different show. So I'm not going to go down that road. And you have the health and the prosperity. In other words, how is that? Do people feel economically safe in your community? Do they feel physically safe in your community? This is one of the tenets of a small community, is that people move there because they do feel safer. They feel in that safe environment because of the community. And so physiological and safety are very important for your community and for your members to know. And also for your employees, you need to double check on your employees, because if they're not productive, if they're not performing at work, maybe as they should, you want to check those levels. Okay, what has happened at home, specifically also on the third level of the sense of love and belonging. When a person belongs to that family, and quite frankly, when a person is working, they are working with you 40 to 50 to 60 hours a week. All right, and so that is a good chunk of their day, a good chunk of their life, that they belong to a work family more than they belong to their own family, so to speak, on that. So you want to make sure that in your workplace, people feel like they are loved and they belong, because then they go up to that esteem level. That's where people feel self-confident. They feel respected by others. They gain respect. They give respect, and that is their sense of achievement. They're higher producers. And that's where appreciation really comes into play, is love and belonging and esteem. When people feel appreciated, they will do more for you, because they will perform better. And when you would take a child, when you appreciate and you praise a child for what they do, they will repeat that behavior. An employee and a person is no different, that when you appreciate what they do, they will repeat that behavior, because they want to do good. They want to have a view in other people's eyes of, I am appreciated. I am appreciated for what I do. Now, here's the other statistic that you want to pay attention to also, is that according to O.C. Tanner, in 2019, as soon as, or as quick as 2019, frequently. Thank you.
Recently as 2019.
This is why we're a team here. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
The number one reason why employees quit. Yeah, the number one reason why employees quit is because of lack of appreciation. So people don't want a raise. They don't want more money. Well, they might.
Yeah, I was
okay,
gonna say, well, let's not leave that off.
But that's not the number one. People will quit. Mm-hmm. It's 79% of your employees quit because of a lack of appreciation. Now, management, that's really easy to turn around. Mm-hmm. Specifically now, we have some minimum wage jobs that are looking for employees. So how do you create that environment that attracts those employees? Is get word of mouth that I'm really appreciated in my job. I really feel like I belong here, and I'm appreciated for the contribution that I give. That's really easy for a manager to do. That's really easy for a business owner to do. That's really easy for an organization to do. So if you are an organization, if you are a church, if you're a school system, if you're a business, if you are a community and you're losing people, check your environment. Ask people, how are they treated? Do you feel like you are welcome here? And I don't mean going to the people that live there all the time. I mean going to those people that might have moved in recently. They might have not from that community or not from the church or not members of that church. Maybe they haven't joined your church, so they are a little bit off the radar, but you know they're there. Why are they not coming back? What has happened? Maybe they don't feel welcome. Maybe they don't feel appreciated. Maybe they don't feel a part of the family. And so that's an important environmental sector, an environmental atmosphere to produce and to change. I get real passionate about this, and my head doesn't keep up with my mouth doesn't keep up with my head, right? Yeah, you can tell that.
For those of you who are on the podcast, the graphic that Frank was referencing is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So it's a triangle that has multiple levels. And so if that, you can Google that, or you can come to our YouTube or our YouTube channel, and you can find that in today's episode.
See, it's catching. Yay!
It's okay. But the important thing to take away from today is that appreciating the people who are in your life, the clerks at the store, the people who check you out at the grocery store or wherever you happen to be shopping, your bank tellers, your family. It was so nice this morning. I woke up and Frank told me how much he appreciated me. And that was just a really lovely way to start the day. So you can start that right away in the morning with the people who are in the same home as you are. That's going to make you feel good. It's going to make them feel great. And what this is, folks, is mental health. All of these aspects, all of these actions contribute to our sense of well-being, and that implicates and surrounds our mental health, how we're feeling about ourselves, our communities, our contributions. The more we pull together and support each other to be kind and to be grateful for someone else's presence and the contributions that they make in our lives, that helps to increase our mental health, our happiness, how we feel about ourselves, but it also can help someone else feel good, that they matter, that they live on the planet Earth with the rest of us. And that is a huge part of what we do with communities. Is you have to have that atmosphere, you have to have that environment for people to want to stick around. We're more and more mobile, and if people feel like they belong in your community, they're more likely to stay and contribute, and if they don't, they can move.
So here's kind of the recap of the last 4 days. As we talked about relationships, helping people with your warm reception, you're following through on your words. In other words, you are walking the talk. If you told somebody you were going to do something, you followed through on it, you did it. If your community has a brand, a slogan, whatever it is that says everybody is welcome here, but everybody doesn't feel welcome there, or there are some incidences that are going on that drive people away, then you're not walking your talk. When you brand yourself, and this is our brand, so we really strive to live how we preach and to do these things and to create that environment. Are we perfect all the time? Absolutely not. Do we have forgiveness? Yes. And so we strive to become better. But that's the relationships. And then the engagement is, how do you create that environment to where people feel safe about saying things, saying what they feel, and talking about their values, not just talking about the position that they hold, but talking about why they hold that position or the interest behind it. Then we talked about entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial feeling, the entrepreneurial creative side of an individual, of how to find your passion, how to support the purpose of an entrepreneur, how to create that vision and walk that vision, and then create those goals in there with the intentional focus of success. And today we talked about appreciation. Tomorrow we're going to be pulling it all together into what values does that uphold? What values are people looking for through these 4 pillars, and what values will your community have, or your business have, or your organization have when you put all 4 of these pillars together? So come back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. or 11:30 a.m.
Let's go for
Central
11:30
Time. Yeah,
Central.
11:30 a.m.
Yes.
Central Time at Rural Community Solutions. You can check us on YouTube at Rural Community Solutions live stream. Go to our Facebook page, Rural Community Solutions, or you can catch us on that podcast at Think Like an Entrepreneur, Become a Spark Plug at anchor.fm.
We appreciate you being here. We hope you have. Let's go with a thrilling Thursday. Whatever thrilling means to you, let's go with that. And we are just grateful for you, who are our listeners, and the things that you do in your community.
So go out and make it a WUCA type of day to welcome, understand, comfort, and appreciate others and yourself.
Take care.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.